Hello, welcome to our annual financial aid informational meeting. My name is Tim Doherty. I am the Vice President of Enrollment Management, and we're here to do our best to try to provide you with the information you need to make sure that you apply for every source of funding to help with the cathedral prep tuition. That includes tuition assistance, need-based tuition assistance, merit-based scholarships, and really just any opportunity to get help with the cost of tuition. I'd like to introduce the people who are going to be speaking today and that you'll be working with to apply for the sources of funding. So right now, I'm going to bring on screen my colleague, Christine Ut, and she's going to give just a brief introduction of herself.
Hi, I'm Christina. I work directly with Tim in admissions. Thank you for being part of our meeting tonight. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions regarding tuition, financial aid, and we're also more than happy to help do the application. So please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. We're happy to work with you, and we look forward to this process and getting your child enrolled at prep.
All right, thank you, Christine. Right now, I'm bringing on screen Mike Zemsky, and he is the Regional Vice President of FACS, and he's going to be speaking during this presentation, and he works for FACS, and FACS is the company that helps with our grant and aid assessment, which is the financial aid applications, but also the payment plans. Mike? Oh, your mic's on mute.
There we go. Thank you for the opportunity. And if you're a student, if your child is a student coming from one of the elementary Catholic schools in the Diocese of Erie, you'll be familiar with a lot of it. We'll go into this a little bit later on. And so thank you for being here.
All right. Thanks, Mike. So let's get started. The process of exploring the choice of high school for your child is a lot of fun. The open house is fun. The shadow visit is fun. Learning about all the opportunities is a lot of fun. But the one thing that's not really fun is figuring out how are we going to factor in that cost of tuition into our budget. And I want to let you know that the reason we're doing this and the reason we want to meet with you personally and help you out is because we want to make it as easy as possible for you. I've been working at Prep for 18 years. Christine has been here for a number of years, and either one of us are more than welcome to meet with you personally for the completion of the applications, to review every source of funding to see what your child is eligible for. And it's really not that difficult. Coming into it brand new, it may seem overwhelming and you're not sure what to do, where to begin. But the process is relatively easy, and that's what we're here for. And we want you to call us. We want you to contact us if you have questions, if you need assistance. And then sometimes people will tell me, Tim, I don't want to bother you. But I will tell you that the only thing that would bother me is if you don't call me when you need something. So we're going to go over a lot of opportunities that you have to reduce the cost of tuition, but understandably, you're probably going to have questions. Each family has unique circumstances, and maybe you need to talk to us personally to discuss how those circumstances would impact the amount of funding you're eligible for. So please, reach out to us, and we're happy to do everything we can. But maybe today's meeting will get you through, will help you through the whole process, and you won't need our help. Either way is fine. So, our first screen, we have, myself. I'm the Vice President of Enrollment Management. Christine and Mike, who you just met. Christine works right next to me. She does the exact same thing I do. We're both very knowledgeable, both very helpful. So it doesn't matter if you work with me or Christine. Either one of us is going to be just as effective as helping you get as much help as possible. And then Mike, it works with FACS. Now you can contact Mike or really any representative at FACS, and they're very, very helpful as well. So let's talk about the cost of tuition for this school year. Okay, the cost of tuition this year at Cathedral Prep, well, the actual cost, what it costs to educate a child is $16,000. That's not what we charge for tuition. But if you divide the operating costs by the number of students in the building, you get like almost exactly $16,000. But the tuition this year is $11,500. And why is that? Well, that's because through the generosity of alumni, constituents, and other donors, we're able to keep the cost of tuition to families well below what it costs the school to operate. So essentially, every Cathedral Prep student receives a scholarship of $4,500. And I point this out because I want families to know that my colleagues here at Cathedral Prep are working hard and doing everything they can to make that tuition as affordable as possible. And they're out there seeking donations and seeking people to help our school so that we can keep that cost of tuition lower. So people will always say, you know, why is it so expensive? Why you charge so much? Well, we wish it this year the tuition's 11.5. Of course, we wish it was lower, but we still feel like we're doing a great job and keeping that tuition as low as possible. So for this school year, the tuition is $11,500. That includes, all school fees. There's no additional book fees or no additional iPad fee. Now, if your family does not belong to a Catholic parish in the Catholic Diocese of Erie, there's an additional $350 fee. And that's because we receive a subsidy from the diocese that equals about $350 a student. But we don't have a technology fee. We do not require iPad insurance. We do not have a fundraiser fee. That's pretty much what you see on the screen is what families would be paying for this current school year. Next school year, there's an increase. Each year, the tuition increases 3 to 5%. So you can anticipate a little bit of an increase, but that hasn't been set for next school year. As soon as we know next year's tuition, we will be sending it out to families. The only other fees in addition to the tuition would be the athletic fees. So if your child plays one sport, there is a $200 fee. If your child plays two sports, the total fee is $225. It's not it's just $25 more than the one sport fee. And then for three sports, it'd be $250. So, but this is kind of like for this current school year, what you'd be looking at for everything. And again, next year, there'll be that typical 3 to 5% increase. And when that's set, we'll have that out to families right away. So we do offer some tuition discounts. Alumni of Cathedral Prep or Villa Maria Academy will receive a $100 discount, per child. Families who turn in their tuition deposit prior to the deadline, which is actually this Friday, will receive a $100 discount. So if you put down $100, the $100 tuition deposit for your incoming freshman by this Friday, $200 will be applied to your child's account. And I know that you may be thinking, well, $100 isn't a huge deal, but when we start adding up numbers this spring, every $100 that we get here and there is going to start making a big difference. And they do add up. And so I think that these things will be helpful as we move forward. There is an employee and coaching discount. Now, those discounts available depending on the status and department. For example, are you a head coach or are you assistant coach? Are you a full-time employee or are you a part-time employee? Are you part-time at 20 hours a week? Or are you part-time at 10 hours a week? There's different discounts for different levels of employees, but the employee discount is the same whether you work in the office, whether you're a teacher or administrator, whether you work at Haggerty Family Event Center, Mother Teresa Academy, in the maintenance department. And so there's a lot of, you can get a lot of help through that employee or coaching discount. And right now we do have openings for custodians. So if that's something that you would be interested in, please contact me and I'll get you in touch with the right department. But there are a number of parents over the years that have helped out here in different areas of the school that were able to get, big discounts on the cost of tuition. We also have a sibling discount, and that's $500 per child. So if you have 2 children at prep, it's $1,000. If you have 3 children, $1,500, and so on. So I always like to say, the more children you enroll, the more you save. Another option we have to get, I won't say help with tuition, but something that sometimes helps families is being a host family. Host families that host an international student receive a stipend of $1,000 per month. Now, there is certain criteria. You have to provide the student with their own bedroom, transportation to and from school, which most times is just, the bus, meals not provided at school, a non-smoking home, things like that. But if you would be interested in hosting an international student, I would ask you to reach out to me. I think we might have a handful of opportunities for next school year. And sometimes that $1,000 a month stipend makes things a little bit easier to host that student, but then also helping with some other expenses that might make the cost of tuition a little bit more manageable for you there. So now let's talk about some scholarships that we have available for you. So a big scholarship is, this was just introduced last school year, and that's the Riley Rose Haggerty Scholarship in honor of Riley Rose Haggerty, who passed away at just the age of 5 months. And she, in the scholarships are awarded to students entering grade 9. They're in the amount of $6,000, and students will receive the application materials soon. But the students would have to write an essay demonstrating how they remained resilient while facing adversity. And like I said, 4 students are going to get these scholarships. Their amount $6,000. We would encourage, students to take advantage of this scholarship. That $6,000 is a huge chunk of the cost of the tuition. Another scholarship we have are the essay scholarships, the Catholic Identity, the English essay, the Alumni essay. There are 6 recipients, and those scholarships are all in the amount of $500. We have the entrance exam scholarships. These have been awarded, but these go to the students who receive the top 15 scores on our entrance exam. Those students have been notified, and those scholarships are renewable. They take place they're applied to the tuition account every school year. The Sitersky Scholarship. These are for students in 8th grade graduating from Catholic grade schools. 3 students will receive a $1,000 scholarship towards their grade 9 tuition. Again, all these materials will be sent to every eligible family. We have the Mantilla Scholarship. We have about 12 to 13 of these. They're $5,000 for qualifying families, and you don't need to do anything special for this one. You would just complete a fax application for tuition assistance, and then the financial aid committee would determine who the recipients are. You don't need to do anything extra, write an essay or anything like that. But that's another opportunity that quite a few families are able to take advantage of, and makes it possible for their child to attend Cathedral Prep. There is the Catholic School Graduation Scholarship. So one 8th grader from every Catholic school will receive a $1,000 scholarship in addition to their financial aid and everything else. And students have to write an essay on any subject, and the scholarship is announced at their graduation. We have the Christopher Mark Knoll Scholarship. Students have to write an essay. This is again for students graduating from a Catholic grade school. They would write an essay on any topic, and they again, one recipient would receive a $1,000 scholarship for their 9th grade Cathedral Prep tuition. And then there is the Hispanic Scholarship. This is for parishioners of St. Stephen's Parish. And if you're not a parishioner of St. Stephen's Parish, unfortunately, you wouldn't be eligible. But if you are a parishioner at St. Stephen's and you're looking at your child coming to prep next school year, reach out to me and we'll make sure that you have those details. But if you're a parishioner, you probably already, would have access to that information as well. We have academic scholarships for incoming freshmen. They are in the amount of $500, and we need recommendations from 2 teachers for every application that we receive. For each student, we'll need 2 recommendations, and those scholarships are renewable. So as long as a student maintains a certain level of achievement, they can receive those $500 scholarships each year. The upperclassmen, you have to, have your GPA above a 3.75. But again, you do that, you keep that scholarship all 4 years. We have the art scholarships in visual arts, which we painting, drawing, ceramics, vocal, instrumental, and dance. And those scholarships are also in the amount of $500. All the application materials are going to be sent to the applicants later this week. Upperclassmen, typically we keep those scholarships as long as they maintain their involvement in the program. For example, if you're in the show choir, you get a scholarship for grade 9. You continue with the show choir, you participate in their programs, then you're going to maintain that scholarship all 4 years. If you discontinue your involvement in a certain program, whether it's dance or the arts, then that scholarship would discontinue. Most of the students maintain these scholarships through their 4 years at Cathedral Prep. Then we have the CESP, the Catholic Elementary Scholarship Program. And what this does is every student, every graduate of a Catholic grade school will be given a $1,000 award. But you have to have been at the Catholic grade school in the Diocese of Erie for grades 6, 7, and 8, and that's all of grades 6, 7, and 8. And you have to submit an application with an essay. And these applications will be sent to the eligible students. So if you do not need to apply through fax to get that $1,000 scholarship. You just have to fill out the paper application and turn it in with an essay, and you'll get that $1,000 scholarship. Now, if you want more than $1,000, you do need to complete a fax application. But all you have to do to get the $1,000 is turn in the application with an essay, and you have to be a Catholic school graduate and have been there through grades 6, 7, and 8. If you complete a fax application, you could get up to $3,000 in CESP funds. Now, that would be dependent on family size and income. And then your total award from prep could be up to $5,000. So your $5,000, if you got the max, would be the $3,000 in CESP and an additional $2,000 in other sources. Upperclassmen, they can get the $3,000 if they received it for this current school year and they apply for aid through fax by the March 1st deadline. Again, if you have any questions about this, and please let me know. We'll guide every family through this process and make it as easy as possible. So the financial aid sources we're looking at are Cathedral Prep. That's where a bulk of the family's tuition assistance come from. We have many sources, but most of the aid comes from the fax application in them receiving tuition assistance directly from Cathedral Prep. Those applications are due March 1st, and you have to include either your 22 or 23 federal tax return and your 23 W-2. There's a $30 payment for that. That payment does not go to the school, it goes to fax. And that March 1st deadline, you really want to get it in by March 1st. If you apply for aid on March 2nd or even on April or May 2nd, you'll get aid, you will. But it will not be the same as if you applied sooner. So I can't stress enough to get it done by March 1st. If you're in a unique situation where you're a business owner or you don't have your tax documents, or there's just these unique situations going on that would prevent you from being able to get your application done by March 1st, you need to contact us and let us know, and we can work with you on that. But when families contact us in June and they don't really have a good excuse for why they haven't applied for aid, it's, you know, it's likely you're not going to get nearly as much had you been on top of things. Now, the Catholic Diocese of Erie also has funding. Typically, you know, the highest award is going to be close to 500. I didn't say this about prep aid, but typically the highest award is going to be 5,000. The lowest award could be like 500,000 bucks, and then you can get up to $5,000 in prep aid, and the diocese up to 500 typically. So the diocesan financial aid application, if you went to a Catholic school in the past, you're probably familiar with it. It was a paper application. You would print it out and mail it in. And this year they're going online. Now, whether you're Catholic or not, or whether you go to a Catholic grade school or not, you can still receive funding from the Catholic Diocese of Erie to attend Cathedral Prep. It's going to be an online application. There's a $20 fee. The application link will be on our website. It's going to be emailed to families. We're going to put letters in the mail that show you how to access it. That link has not gone live yet. I reached out to the diocese. They told me as of today, January 24th, it's not live. They told me that link should be live by Monday, January 29th, and they'll start taking applications on that day. So once that link becomes live, we'll make sure that everyone has an email that would give them access to that. But the big one is the PrEP financial aid application that's through fax. That's the one where a bulk of the funding is going to come from. There's also junior achievement. Your child has to go to a junior achievement partner school to be eligible. Their scholarships range from $1,000 to $5,000, sometimes more, but typically it's between $1,000 and $5,000. Now, typically it's just the Catholic schools that are partner schools. So if you're thinking, well, my kid goes to a public school, I would keep this in mind for next school year, that when they're at prep, they could apply for this funding. But if they're a Catholic school now, you need to talk to your Catholic grade school principal and find out when they are doing their junior achievement program. Make sure they're doing one, because they could receive a lot of funding. This year alone, just this school year, Cathedral Prep students received collectively $132,000 in junior achievement scholarships. 132,000. Quite a few students getting some big bucks because they participated in the program. That includes incoming freshmen who were attending a junior achievement partner school for grade 8, and includes our upperclassmen. I can't stress the importance of looking into that enough. And then there's GCAC. Typically the awards have been $500 per student. The applications are on their website. The application is relatively easy, but it does need to be signed by a school official. So myself or Christine Utt are more than happy to sign off on those before you turn them into GCAC to be processed. We also encourage you to check with your parishes and your churches. There's a lot of parishes that offer assistance, that have programs. I think St. Pete's has a program with their parishioners. I recommend that you check with your pastor and just ask them, do you have a program, a tuition assistance program, or tuition assistance opportunities for parishioners of our church who go to a Catholic high school? I would strongly encourage you to do that, even if they don't have an official program. Sometimes when you make a request, they may be willing to help. But there are a handful of parishes out there right now providing like $1,000 or more to students who belong to that parish and attend a Catholic high school. And Cathedral Prep is not a school of really wealthy students. Most of our students here are receiving tuition assistance. Most of our students are coming from families making sacrifices, parents working 2 jobs, grandma and grandpa are helping out. They're driving old cars. And so we encourage people to ask your family, ask your friends. Some employers have discounts, but I will tell you that when I went to prep, I graduated 26 years ago this spring. And when I went to prep, it wasn't easy for my family. We were broke. We didn't have a lot of money, and it was tough for us. We never went on vacation. We had old cars. But you know, we were proud to go to Cathedral Prep. And that was more important to us than any, material things. Coming from a family where it wasn't easy for us to afford the cost of tuition, I feel blessed to be in the position to be able to work directly with families to help them get that cost of tuition as affordable as possible, especially in today's world where prices are rising, salaries are freezing, or maybe even going down. And I really, really, really want to see these students go to Cathedral Prep. Me and Christine, my colleagues, I don't get a bonus if more kids come here. I don't get extra money. I don't get an incentive to get more kids here. The incentive I get is knowing that there are good kids going to a good school, being in a good environment, being prepared for college beyond for today's world. I want families and students to have the same experience that I was able to have. I really believe in the school and the mission, and I will do whatever I can, and I know my colleagues are the same way, to see that your child is able to go to this school. I'll do whatever I can. I'll meet with you to do the applications, bring in your tax documents. I'll fill out the applications for you. Me and my colleagues will help you out. We'll make sure that they're done properly, that you submit the right documentation, and that they're done in a way to maximize the amount of help you're going to get. So these financial aid notifications, like you fill all this stuff out by March 1st, right? You're like, well, what next? You're going to hear from Prep in early April. Probably the first few days of April, you'll get an email that says what you got from that. Hopefully it's a lot. Then you get your diocesan letter. They're going to send you a letter in the mail. This year they're doing online. They may send you an email, but every year in the past, they did a letter in the mail. They usually let you know, like by March 31st, maybe April 1st, what you're getting there. The diocesan financial aid letter always goes out first, and typically their awards are about $500, and parents always freak out. They think that's all they're getting, but the big award is coming from Prep. GCAC usually waits until like early June, maybe even mid-June. This year they came out in like late June, but that's kind of when these sources will notify you. And junior achievement usually comes out in early to mid-May. Now, tuition invoices are going to come out in like early to mid-May. And let's pretend you get your invoice in May, but you got GCAC funds in early June. Well, all summer long, we're adjusting these tuition invoices as these awards come in. So don't worry if you got notified you got GCAC funding, but we did not get notified yet. We will apply it, but we need to hear from GCAC too. Families typically hear from junior achievement and GCAC before we do. But as soon as we get notified, we will make sure that we deduct that amount from your tuition invoice. So here's just some reminders. The deadline for the diocesan and Prep 8 is March 1st. The diocesan deadline, that's a strict deadline. You turn that in on March 2nd, they're probably not taking it. The Prep one, we'll take it on March 2nd. We'll take it on June 2nd. But you get that in before March 1st, you're guaranteeing that you're going to get the largest award as possible. You turn that in March 20th, by that time, a huge percentage of the available funding could be given away already, and you're missing out on funds you would have qualified for had you done it on time. And the big reminder is to contact me or Christine Ut. We want to do everything we can to make this as easy as possible for you. So when you meet with us, we'll ask you to bring in your most recent tax return, state and federal tax returns. If you want to get as much funding as possible, use your 23 state and federal returns and your W-2s. You come in and meet with us. It takes about 30 minutes. We will do the applications for you. We do this stuff all the time. And then we'll do the need-based applications with you. And then we'll go over the merit-based scholarships and make sure that your child is applying for everything that they can apply for. And then we just wait. And you get it in by March. You have to wait like 3 to 4 weeks to find out. And that's the hardest part of the hardest part is waiting. So by Friday, we're putting a packet in the mail that's going to have everything that I just talked about here. It's going to have a letter that lists all the scholarships. It's going to have application material. It's going to list all the discounts, how you get those discounts. It's going to talk about all the sources of need-based aid. It's going to have applications for every scholarship, deadlines, dates, all of that stuff. So this packet is going to be mailed to each and every one of you. We're also going to email it to each and every one of you on Friday in our weekly newsletter. If you're not getting that weekly newsletter every Friday, please reach out to us. We'll make sure you're getting that. But everything we discussed, you're probably thinking, well, how do I apply for the dance scholarship? What do I do for the art scholarship? What about the music scholarship? Excuse me. All of those documents, applications, all of those details are going to be sent to you in the mail. We're working on the mailing right now, and that will be going out Friday. It will probably arrive at your homes on Monday, but you'll also get a PDF of that same information by email on Friday as well. Okay, so everything we're going to be sending you, everything I discussed, we're going to be sending you information on, but I can't stress enough to reach out, make contact, and get things done by that March 1st deadline. So I'm going to talk a little bit about payment plans here, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mike because that's really his area of expertise. But the payment plans are handled through fax management. So they, you sign up for a payment plan with them, and they do the auto withdrawals, but they're the kind of company that handles that. So we do increments of 1, 2, 4, or 10 payments. The most common payment plan is 10 payments, and that's 10% per month over 10 months. That's usually in July, starts in July and ends in April. We may be able to, maybe start in August and end in May, but we don't like to go beyond May with the payments. You want to contact Jen Gano in the Prep Finance Office for more information on these options. But I will tell you, and I talked to Jen today, she asked me to make sure everyone knows that these payments are customizable. So let's just say that you make a couple payments, you pay July, you pay August, and you're like, rather than paying once a month, I rather pay bi-weekly. Well, you can do that, and she can set that up for you. Or if you have some other plan on making these payments, you have an atypical method to pay your tuition, Jen will work with you on that within reason. Her contact information is on the screen, but we'll make sure that you all have it in email and in the letter that we're going to send out as well. But she's the person who finalizes the plans. Now, me and Christine, we can give you advice. We can tell you how things work, but Jen is the person that's going to put it all in place for you. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike here soon, but I just want to emphasize another thing is that if you are a parent, your child's going to prep, you're paying monthly payments, and you're having a problem affording the cost of tuition, or maybe you can't make a payment, we encourage you to contact the business office. They work real closely with the families. They work real well. They're willing to work with you. So if you're like, hey, I can't make my January payment, overspend on Christmas presents, the heating bill is too high, Jen Gano could pause that January payment, add it to the last payment of the year. There's other options there. So all we need you to do is contact us if you're having a problem. We will do whatever we can to help out. So being in contact, speaking with us, emailing it with us is the way to go. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to Mike Zemsky. He is the Regional Vice President at FACTS, and he's going to talk to you a little bit more about what FACTS does. And they really are a great company, and they do all the hard work when it comes to processing your financial aid applications and then handling your payment plans. So Mike, you're on.
Tim, I just heard what you've been doing, regarding contacting Jen Gano, and that's half of my stuff. I mean, it's that's really there. It is a school-controlled program, which is pretty unique in the industry, because we can make those accommodations. Because you'll have a 10-pay payment plan, as Tim said. You might have a hardship hit. You might want to move things around a little bit, the school has full control over what that is, and Jen can work with you. So just as Tim's going to work with you and Christine's going to work with you to get the financial aid packages in place, Jen can work with you with the fax platform to help make those payments to the school affordable. But just to talk a little bit about the grant and aid application, if you've never done that before, we'll go to the next slide and dive into it a little bit. It's for a fair assessment of financial need. The diocesan scholarship application is more of a scholarship, and this is more of a financial need based on your income, which is why you need your 1040 and W-2. And it's all objective data. So the school can then say, okay, this is what's there on the data, but the family really needs another, a couple $100s or something like that. So those kinds of things are flexibility as well. We give the school a place to start rather than starting every application from scratch. And when I've explained that to schools, people look at that and go, oh, from the perspective of a school that's saying doing this in-house, a committee might go through a series of applications and then realize we're out of money by the time they hit, 3/4 of the way through, and then they have to go through and redo everything again. So with the size of the school that Cathedral Prep is, this provides a nice guide for them to do that. The schools can review the information, they can make adjustments, they can reanalyze things based on circumstances that happen. For parents, it's a web responsive form, so it doesn't matter if you fill it out on your iPhone, on your iPad, or your computer. It provides the security of information. We're collecting all the data, we're securing all the data, we're holding all the data. So if the school would need to go into your application, they're not going to see your social security numbers or things like that. And we also provide reminders. If you start your application and you let it sit for a couple of weeks, we're going to send you a reminder. Hey, this stuff still needs there. So we take that kind of responsibility off the school, and we provide reminders to say, hey, gentle reminder that you still need to complete your application, get your forms in, or whatnot. Okay, next slide. Okay, so how you apply is going to the Cathedral Prep website. So you can visit www.prep/villa.com or -villa.com. And you can see on that menu part that's there, if you would click onto that, you then get this pop-up on the side that says tuition and financial aid. So you can click on there, and that will take you to this screen, which talks about tuition and financial aid. The financial aid form is there, and then this starts the process here. You may look at this really quickly and then see this says March 1st, 2023. That's okay. This was pulled off the site from last year. It's going to be March 1st, 2024, of course. And this is the big link that you just click on that assessment, and then you're right into facts. And if you have a fax account already from the elementary schools, whether it's financial aid or whether it's from payment plans, you already have a fax account. So you can sign in, enter your credentials and go in. If you've never done that at an elementary school before, then you would need to create a username and a password, and that starts the ball rolling there for you. Some benefits to the parents. Lost my screen here for a second. There we go. It provides a comprehensive dashboard for you, so you can see what's there. You can see those things that are incomplete. If you go in, it tells you what's incomplete and what's missing. So it's not just something that says, hey, you need to send us more information. We'll tell you what information is there, whether that's a form, a tax form. If you're self-employed, it might be a Schedule SE, a 2106, a K-12, all those wonderful documents that are there. We analyze all of that in order to provide the best financial need assessment to the school. Next slide. Okay, and we also look at that application status there that will tell you, in a nutshell where everything is. So we give you that sort of snapshot view there. If you need a Spanish translation, you can do that as well. It will automatically translate the the website for you at that point. Next slide. Okay. The online applications, just checking with Tim, that's correct? Yeah, $30 per family. And that is a per family application. So let's just say you're coming to the Cathedral Prep and the Erie Catholic Schools have some tax credit money to give, and they're encouraging you to apply through fax as well for that financial aid that they have available. The nice thing is that it's just one fee. So there's not going to be two fees for you to pay. It's just that one fee between the two schools. So it's a $30 per family fee, and as I said, that's across all schools as well. This is a kind of interesting scenario. I don't know if this applies to anyone, but say, for example, someone is attending Erie First for their elementary school experience and then coming to Cathedral Prep for their secondary school. Once again, both schools use fax, so there's only that $30 family fee application. Okay, and Tim did a great job on the payment plans. In a nutshell, you can have all kinds of different ways to pay your fees. Online, a direct debits from a savings or checking account, or a credit card. We put the credit card fee back onto the family so the school doesn't have to absorb that. That's 2.9%. If you want to call our account management folks, you can do that as well. You can pay over the phone. It is a mobile payment site, so you can do that from your iPhone or your iPad, or Android tablet. You can pay ahead. You can apply payments to upcoming charges. You can catch up if there's a payment that's been missed. You can switch between a couple of different checking accounts. You can switch between a checking account and a credit card. If somebody comes up and says, you get a credit card offer in the mail that says you're going to get 3% cash back on educational purchases. Great. Make that, and you'll get that 3% discount. That'll be sort of offset by the $295 charge, but that's a little better kind of incentive for you. If you change your email address, you can do that on the system. Change your phone number. Those kinds of things that can all be done by by parents. The one thing that we don't let parents change by themselves is the amount and the due date. That's controlled by the school, so you would just need to call Jen, and she can handle those things. Once again, it's the due date and the amount of payment. So next slide. Okay, schools get payment security this way. They're not handling cash. They're not handling checks. Those funds are deposited directly to the school's bank account. It keeps everything compliant, keeps everything secure. We also have a follow-up service that if a payment is missed, we'll call you and send you an email that says there was a payment that was missed. It also gives you a reminder when you have a payment coming up. So just to let you know, this payment is going to be happening in 4 days. You can sign up for a text reminder or an email reminder or both. So just like other accounts that you would have with a credit card company or something like that, Fax offers that as well. So we can have the schools shift their energies to just focusing on working with parents, and then we can do all those kinds of things. They also get dashboard reporting so they can see everything at a glance as to how everything's happening. Okay, next slide. Okay, just so you know, we're not a bank. We're not a credit company. We don't do credit checks. We don't do those kinds of things. We are also not a collection agency. We don't garnish wages and all that kind of stuff. This is simply a payment plan, and it is a flexible payment plan. I have a very hard time saying flexible payment plan because it's a tongue twister that I still haven't mastered, but it's what it is. It's the billing service for the school, really, when you look at it that way. It's helped to reduce costs of time and management. We're used in over 12,000 schools across the country. We are the largest provider of payment plan services and financial services to faith-based and private schools in the nation. Next. Okay, so these are the options, as Tim mentioned. You can do an automatic savings account or checking account, direct debit. Tim said you can do 1, 2, 4, 10, whatever payment method. You can choose the 5th, 10th, 15th, or the 20th of the month, whatever works for you. But even if you sign up for that and you find out, hey, the 15th isn't working, I really need the 17th. Jen can make those kinds of adjustments for you too, so those kinds of things can work. The next plan is that, as I said, you can put it on a credit card. Choose the same days. You get that email address and text support from your cell phone number. You can have those reminders sent as well. And I just mentioned there's that 2.9% service fee on a credit card so that the school doesn't have to absorb that. And it can be any credit card that you want to use. We use all four for that. Next. Okay. What happens if there's a hardship? You can't make the payment and all those kinds of things that might happen. You have an insanely expensive car repair or something like that. We know those things happen. It's happened to my family. My wife's purse was stolen a while ago. We had everything shut off. So if you have those kinds of things, you need to contact the school. It is a school control platform. Jen can help you with that. We can modify those automatic payments 2 days before that payment happens, and that's why we send you a reminder 4 days before. And we don't change those payment terms without the school's authorization. Once the school would change that, you'd get a notification that says your payment plan has changed. So if you don't change your payment plan and you get a notification that your payment plan has changed, that's sort of the kind of thing like you get when you change your Facebook password, and if you didn't make this change, contact us, those kinds of things. So that system is real time. And you will always get a notification whenever there's a change to your payment plan. Tim, next slide. If you miss it, okay, if you miss that payment, okay, we'll send you a notification, and then we'll do a reattempt on the account 15 days later, and that'll give you time to replenish the account. We would have a $30 NSF fee that would be assessed because the bank assesses that on an insufficient fund charge. Your bank may also assess that, but that key to remember is that the school can change an automatic payment date to avoid that. So it's not going to just automatically happen. If you do nothing, that would happen. But if you are proactive and go, oh my goodness, I can't make this payment, and you call the school to make the adjustment, then it's something that the school can control that, and they can help you avoid those fees. If the due date is on a weekend, say you choose the 15th, and the 15th is a Saturday, that payment's going to happen on the following weekday, so it doesn't happen before. It will happen on the following weekday. But if you let it go and the payment fails twice, it will be attempted one more time, and there's an additional fee on that. So this isn't something you want to just let set and go automatically. This is why we call it actively managed payment plans, because between the school and the parent, this is an actively managed thing. It's not just to set it and forget it like it is in a number of other situations. Next slide. Okay. And once again, it's there for the 2023-2024 school year. Apologize for that. Tim had some slides for 2023 and 2024, but this is for 2024-25 school year coming up. And it will be the same. The payment in full, there's no cost to you to make that on fax. If there's 2 payments, it's $20, and 3 or more payments, it's $42. That's so the school doesn't have to pick up the cost of the program. And so that's why we do that. You'll notice the encouragement there with no fee to you if you pay in full, and that's to encourage more families to indeed pay in full if they can. I've been working for fax for 16 years. I've seen schools use this strategically to do that. It's really helped them to, for lack of a better word, to stay open and to be able to pay their teachers, be able to pay the bills. It's been a real help to schools, and as Tim said, he's here because he loves to see students, receive the education that's here. I'm still here because I love to see schools that are able to provide that that opportunity with a solid financial foundation. Next slide. Okay, and once again, easy to enroll in the payment plan. We showed you where to apply for the financial aid. It's the same place. All you would do is click the email to sign on for a payment plan. You'll get an email detailing those kinds of things. You choose whatever you'd like to go forward with, an automatic debit or a credit card. You can choose your payment term, the date, And then within 10 days of choosing the plan, that fee of either $20 or $42, that'll be assessed that same way, either with the credit card or a direct debit. And we do that to test the account, so the school doesn't have to, quote unquote, test the account to make sure it's a good account. I'm sure if you've done some online banking, and you want to transfer money from one bank to a different bank, they do that deposit kind of thing, where they do the, put a couple of pennies in and then take a couple of pennies out, that kind of stuff. Well, this is how we do that. It takes care of the fax fee, and then we know that it's good, and the schools can work through that. Also, once again, the flexibility, as I mentioned, you can. Once you've signed up for the payment plan, that doesn't mean you're stuck in that method. If you want to switch 1 month to a credit card, switch 1 month to a checking account or a different checking account, you're certainly able to manage that on your own. Next slide. Great. Couple of things to remember, and this is it. The Cathedral Prep School has full control over that fax platform. They can change your payments, split payment amounts, as Tim said. If you want to pay bi-weekly, we have some schools that have that. We have some folks that do an end of the month payment plan. We have some schools do first day of the month payment plan. Whatever those special circumstances are, if you need that, the school can help you with it. So it provides that kind of real-time reporting. Even with all those changes that happen, that changes the reporting for the school, so that makes it really easy for them to see where things are, what kind of cash flow they're managing, so that they can pay their teachers, pay their bills. You have the ability to check those accounts with a computer or your mobile device. It's responsive. It's going to work on any platform. And you can make payments. And for those families that always call the school and say, can you send me a statement? You don't have to do that anymore. You just click it, you'll see it, and you can print it off. If you have any questions, we have a team that's there. We answer 24/7 with our Lincoln-based team. The company's based in Lincoln, Nebraska, so we don't outsource anything in terms of customer service. It's a toll-free number. You would see that on the fax website. You would see that on the fax information that you're getting. But it's a toll-free number to call. Just if you need to have questions answered, we can certainly do that. But it is really, as I mentioned many times, a school control platform, and Jen has a lot of control over what she needs to do to help make the experience a good one for you. Thanks. I think we're done.
Oh, sorry about that. I had my mic off. I'd like to thank everybody for attending this meeting. Again, I can't encourage you enough to please make contact. Some of you may just feel confident enough to do this on your own, and that's totally cool. I can tell you though, the last year alone, I probably met with 80 families plus, and Christine met with a bunch soon, a bunch as well to do these applications. You bring in your documents, we'll make it easy for you. We'll do the applications, we'll scan them for you, we'll upload them for you, we'll make it as easy as possible. And then we just wait. So whether you're doing it on your own or you're going to come and meet with us, still feel free to call us and ask any questions. We want to do whatever we can. And we really, really, really want to see your child attend Cathedral Prep. I want to work with you, and I look forward to that. So as I mentioned previously, anything that we mentioned here is going to be sent to you in the mail and in your emails. If you're not getting our weekly newsletter, please let me know. We'll make sure you're on that distribution list. But I'd like to thank Christine. I'd like to thank Mike and all of you for being here. And I wish you all the best of luck while your child finishes his or her final year of middle school. And I'm really excited for next school year when your children will be walking the halls of Cathedral Prep as proud Ramblers. For now, have a great evening. And I just want to say, book your appointment with me soon. These families will call me on like February 27th, and they'll say, can I come in? And we have like 2 days, and I will be booked solid. The last week of February, I have meetings pretty much from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. all day without a break. So make sure you book that meeting soon. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon. Roll Ramblers.